This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, Ankita, you will get it in the group, okay? Team will share it with all of you. Right, okay, so let's start. So today our agenda will be to understand, so it will be more sort of like day one. So we will be understanding, we'll be starting with the performance testing basics, and then we'll be moving on to understanding the JMeter, more sort of like a high level way, so that we'll get an understanding of what we are going to see, right? Then we will be going in depth into each of these topics. Okay. So let's start with the JMeter and the other topics. Now here today, what we will see is like in a high level way, we'll try to observe how basically we run a test in JMeter, how in a high level way JMeter looks like, what all various things are there in JMeter. And before that, I jump into JMeter. I want to just go through the performance testing basics, okay? Just a brush up, okay, before we jump into JMeter, okay?
Um,
Right.
yeah, Vishnu. Vishnu, actually, your screen is very small.
Oh, is it?
I don't know. Yeah,
Is it visible now? Better?
it's visible, but from my laptop, actually, I'm seeing very small screen, actually, small size.
Oh, okay. Maybe I think Deepak, you'll have to adjust it. There is some option there to adjust that.
No, I have a zoom in, but if I do zoom in again, the full screen, it
Hmm.
will not be visible. I mean, like,
Is it
like zoom in,
is it
the
now
resolution will
also
be
is
more.
it now also is
One,
it small?
yeah, now also same, actually. If I want to
Oh,
see
is
your
it for
full
everyone?
screen, then I need to make 25%, actually.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is it
If
for
I
everyone?
zoom in more,
No, I can see clearly. Big,
Yeah.
it's a big screen for me here.
Okay. Yeah, Deepak, so try it out. Maybe some setting, okay, somewhere in the go-to meeting. I'm also not sure what setting you have set already. So maybe something related to that.
okay.
Okay. Right. Okay. So again, this normal question to all. So what do we like? What is the main objective of performance testing? So what is all of your understanding? Can someone like anything you can call out? Okay, there's no wrong answer. As I said, it is just like either we are trying to explore something or else we know something. That's all. Okay, there is no wrong answer here, right? So yeah, come on. So what is the objective of performance testing? What's your understanding? Anyone? You can
Check the
freely go
load
on mute.
balancing.
Uh, Technically, it's little far, but it's like an outcome of performance testing. Okay, so what? Why? Like, okay, what? Let's say I go to a doctor, I take an ECG. Why do I take an ECG? Right. So similarly, I do performance testing for what is the purpose behind doing it? Right. So what's the objective?
Vishnu, the objective related with performance testing is to measure the performance of system or application
Hmm.
with respect to throughput or what hardware or what configuration they are using. Means it's some sort of
Hmm.
uh,
Yeah.
calculating the performance.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so let's say now again, performance is a very broad term, right? Performance means like it can be anything. Like if you're someone might consider performance as like your application is looking very good in performance. So, but that doesn't mean we speak, right? Performance we have to define. So, what do we mean by performance first of all, right? That we need to define. So performance testing as a whole, if you see exactly as Atul said, the throughput and all, yes. So we'll come to that, right? So performance testing, whenever you see the definition, right, two words will come. One is a load and stability, right? Whenever you have read about performance testing anywhere, these two words you would have come across, right? But what does it like? There are some questions you need to ask, right? Why performance testing is a non-functional testing? Why is it called a non-functional? And what do we measure in performance testing, which will give me this load and stability of a system, or which will signify, or which will give me a metric saying, okay, there are two applications, application A, application B. Application A is better performing compared to application B, right? So what is that metric which I can compare, right? So that's where two things come into picture. One is the throughput and response time. Okay. See now today, one or two sessions I'll be taking in such a way that it's more sort of we are seeing the overall overview. Okay. Then we will go in depth into each of these things. Okay. Very in depth. Okay. So throughput, right? So now throughput is very more sort of like let's say I have like let's say an ordering which is happening. Okay. In Amazon. Okay. I'm ordering. So let's say I say 20 orders are happening in 1 second. This I can write as 20 orders per second. Okay. So this is nothing but we call it the throughput. Very simple as such. Okay. So throughput of orders. Okay. Now, can I say it in this way that 20 users are ordering or are able to order in 1 second? Okay. This you keep in mind. Okay. 20 users are able to order in 1 second, or I will say 20 orders in 1 second. Okay. Now the same sentence, if I write it like this, right? 20 users are ordering in 1 second. Both are not same. This is correct and this is wrong. When we say 20 orders per second. Can you say why? So first one, the first statement is when my throughput is 20 orders per second, 20 users are able to order 20 orders in 1 second. So that's the statement. Okay. But the same thing doesn't mean 20 users are ordering in 1 second. Making sense? All of you? So let's say this 20, I will make it 2. Okay. So that you understand it more better. 2 users are able to order, or 2 users are able to make 2 orders in 1 second. Okay. So throughput is, let's say, 2 orders per second. But 2 orders per second throughput doesn't mean 2 users are ordering in 1 second. Making sense? So what I'm saying is, I'll write it maybe in a better handwriting. 2 users, because this is very important for you to understand. Okay, if you understand this, you'll understand what is throughput in a very high level way, and lot of other things you will understand. Okay, 2 users are able to make 2 orders in 1 second. Okay, when I say 2 orders per second is my throughput. Okay, throughput is equal to 2 orders per second. The same thing, if I write it like this, 2 users are ordering in 1 second. This is not correct. First one is correct. Can you say why?
So it does not mention the order number in the second one.
But okay, let's go one by one. Okay, are these two statements same? Are they same?
No.
No, they are not. See, in the second statement, two users are ordering in 1 second, but that order might be completed in 10 seconds. No, we don't know. Are you getting my point? See, that one order might take 10 seconds to process, let's say. Okay, though two users are ordering, let's say Ankita and Raj are ordering it. Okay, now Ankita and Raj are ordering it. Let's say Ankita and Raj place the order at the same time, but the order, let's say, takes 10 seconds. So can they say two users are like Ankita and Raj are ordering in 1 second? Means like that doesn't make sense because two orders will get like it will happen only after 10 seconds. Getting my point? But here it is clearly mentioned that two orders in 1 second. Okay, so now this two orders in 1 second. So in these two statements, why I'm saying this is I can make this 20 also. I can make this for 50 also. That doesn't change anything. What changes is this one. So even I can say 50 users are able to make two orders in 1 second. Can I say that? Can I say that?
What? Yeah. Can
50 users are making two orders in 1 second or are able to make two orders in 1 second.
Yes.
yeah, I guess it's
Yes, we can, right? Because let's say ordering takes like let's say 50 seconds or 1 minute, right? So every time every second, right? Only two orders will get processed. It doesn't matter like whether it is 50 users, 100 users, two orders in 1 second means that's the throughput, right? Two orders my system is able to handle in a second. But this one
uh,
is totally different. So what I'm saying here is throughput and users actually don't have any relation. So if someone says throughput of my system is 2 orders per second, that doesn't mean two users are ordering it. I'll give you one more example to understand that. Okay. When I say my system has 2 orders per second, okay, the same thing I can write different cases. Okay. Let's say my orders like single order takes 1 second, okay, to process. So I can say one user. Okay. Now the same thing, let's say order takes 0.5 seconds. Then I can say two users. Now let's say the order takes 5 seconds. So in this case, for two orders per second, right? Uh, uh, so in this case it is two users, and in this case it is four users. Okay. So if the order takes 1 second, to achieve 2 orders per second, I should have two users. If order takes 0.5 seconds to process, to achieve 2 orders per second, I need four users. Okay, now let's say, uh, okay, let's assume this way. Now, if my order gets processed, like let's say, let me start from first, okay, then you'll get more better. So let's say, now here order takes 1 second, okay. Now let's say Ankita is ordering. How much time will she take? Like how many orders can she make in 1 second?
1.
One, right? So that means one Ankita, one order, right? In 1 second. So if two order per second has to happen, so two Ankita should be there, right?
Yeah.
So two orders per second. So I can say two users. Now when the order takes 0.5 seconds, means like my order gets processed in 0.5 second. How many orders can Ankita make in 1 second?
2.
Two
Two.
orders.
So one Ankita, two orders per second, right? So how many users I require in this case? It is one user, right? So see, in both the cases, this one and this one, both the cases, two order per second is same, throughput is same, but user count is different. Are you observing that? Right? Now the user count is changing based on what? Throughput is same, right? But what is changing here?
Number of orders.
Is it number of orders? That's the time, right? The time
Processing time.
required to process the orders, right? So this is nothing but the response time,
Mhm.
right? So as your response time changes, your throughput, if you want to maintain, you have to adjust your users. So whenever I say I have to achieve 2 orders per second, I should not say 2 users per second, or I should not say that my performance test will happen with 2 users. No, I cannot say that. It can be 5, it can be 10, it can be 20. The user count I cannot say when I start the test. So the main thing in performance testing we speak about, right, is the throughput. So are you getting that the main point here? So whenever we are starting our performance test, you don't ask number of users. You ask these two questions, throughput and the response time, right? So this is what constitutes your SLA. So whenever you read an NFR or a non-functional requirement document, these two things will be there in that document as an SLA. We call it the service level agreement, right? So what that service level agreement will be, let's say I'm going to test an application. So that application has various things like login is there, logout is there, ordering is there, right? So this list will be there, and there will be a column called throughput, and there will be a column called response time. So throughput, like let's say what my customer feels is they will see some 100 logins per second, 100 logouts per second. Out of that, 20 orders per second. Because do you think whoever will log in will order also? No, right? Realistically, that doesn't happen. So generally login will be 10 times of orders, right? Like only out of 10, one will order, right? So that 20 orders per second. So this is like a throughput graph, right? Now response time might be same for all. That might be the threshold which your customer is keeping, right? Okay, 5 seconds is what any API or any request should take. And so this will constitute your SLA. Now, what is the importance of SLA, right? Now, this SLA is given by your customer or your BA, the business analyst. Okay, they will give you that from the NFR document. Maybe they will give you directly, or maybe you will have to get it from the NFR document. Okay, non-functional requirement document. Now, so the next question to all of you is, why do I need SLA? Like, why do I need it? Hello, why do I need it?
To ultimately prove what is good, what is not.
Okay, right. Okay, let's say the application which Raj is building. Okay, Raj is my client. Okay, Raj is building. What Raj has observed is when a user is ordering and the order happens in 10 seconds, the user stays. Okay, user stays. Like user is not getting annoyed. But when the order is happening in 15 seconds or somewhere above 10 seconds, okay, above 10 seconds, the user goes to Flipkart. So, according to Raj, 10 seconds is important or 15 seconds is important?
10, less than 10.
10, right? So, what Raj will say to me, to the performance tester or to the team, that my ordering should happen under 10 seconds.
Yes.
Now, when I say 10 seconds, I should also ask him what's the throughput, right? Because this 10 seconds, okay, let's assume this way, there is a door, okay? Uh, Through that door, two people are entering. Okay. So now through the same door, four people are entering, which will take more time.
2 people.
People do.
Four people will take more time to enter
Four
through
people.
the door, right? Now let's say it becomes 100. So there will be a line, right? Queue to enter inside the door, right? Same thing happens with the response time also, right? More the number of requests you send to the server. In our case, it is a request. In the door example, it's people, right? So more requests you send to the server, the response time might increase, right? So when I say ordering should be under 10 seconds, I should also ask Raj what is the throughput he's expecting, where the ordering will be under 10 seconds. So he will say, okay, 5 orders per second should happen. Now I have the SLA, throughput and the response time. Now, as a performance tester, it is my goal or my objective that we should test it and bring our application to this point. Now, let's say I test, okay, I ran a test and I got 12 seconds for 5 orders per second. So, is my test pass or failure with this SLA?
Fail.
Fail. My test is a fail. Clear forward, because my order should happen in 10 seconds at 5 order per second, but it is happening in 12 seconds. My customer will lose the users, right? User will go to Flipkart, and also I'm breaking the SLA, right? I am not able to achieve that SLA. So now when my test fails, now I will have to fix it. So how I will fix it? I am a performance tester, right? I don't know development and all much. So what I will give them, I will give some evidences or whatever I can, some monitoring tool data, reports and all. Then the developer will try to fix it in the code or somewhere so that he can bring it under 10 seconds. So that's the procedure. Now, if let's say instead of 12, I got 9 seconds, is it pass or fail?
Pass.
It's
Pass.
a pass. Okay. What if I got 10 second?
Pass. Pass.
Pass, right? Now, but there is a difference in approach. Okay. When I get 10 second, when I get 9 second, and when I get 12 second. Actually, all three have different approach, right? Now, 12 second, I need to fix the problem. That is 12 second issue. 10 second and 9 second, what's the difference? Like, anyways, both are pass, no? What is the approach difference here? Can someone say? What is the problem in 10 second and 9 second? Both are pass, obviously. My work is done anyways. My application is working well. But there is something more a performance tester can do. What is that?
Response time.
See, now I have a door. Okay. Now that door, 5 people are able to enter. That's what my builder said. Okay. 5 people are able to enter in a second. Now, when I practically or when I really saw, okay, what I observed is instead of 5, 7 people are able to enter through the door. Okay. Now, one thing is, uh, I mean, because through that same door, right, with the 9 second response time, I now for let's say 5 orders per second, let's say I make it 7 orders per second. The response time, let's say, increases to 10 seconds. It's a good thing, right? Right? Because I'm still under SLA and my customer is also happy because he's getting some extra 2 orders per second than what he expected. Right? Are you getting my point?
Right.
But there is one more beautiful way to do it. Okay. Which your customer will like more, okay, and that is, now instead of making 7 orders per second, let's say this is happening, this 5 orders per second at 9 second is happening when I have, let's say, some 5 CPUs in my server. Okay, on my server side I have 5 CPUs. Now what I can do, whenever there is a CPU, there is a cost associated with it, like to maintain each CPU my customer has to pay some amount to the cloud or non-cloud, wherever. Okay. So what I will say to my customer is, since I'm achieving 9 seconds, 5 orders per second, we can reduce the CPU to 4 and make this 9 second 10 second. So still we are under SLA, but at the same time we are saving dollars also by reducing the CPU. Because you might feel this is like a small saving, but it's not. Okay. So there are generally, if you see, they spend millions of dollars, okay, on the infrastructure. So even if you can reduce 10% of it, you save a lot. Okay, it's a very huge chunk. Okay, so that's where the things get different, right? Interesting. 10 second and 9 second when you get, then to you have work to do. It's not that you don't have any work. But if you get 10 second, obviously the work is easy. It's just a pass. You what you can do further is to optimize, right? Maybe optimize your application more so that you can again reach this destination of reducing the resources, right? So ultimately, the final goal, okay, objective is load and stability. But final goal of a performance tester to create that visibility is dollar savings on infrastructure. Are you getting, all of you? So this is what you need to ultimately reach a point, okay, where you can directly save the dollars of your customer by optimizing your resources, whatever you have in your application. Okay. Yeah. Any questions, anyone till now? We'll take up some questions. Okay. So this is an open question to all. Okay. We speak about like how to be, like how to innovate or how to be visible or how to get into good books of our customer, right? If you save dollars directly, do you think don't you think that you will be in good books already? What do you think?
Yes.
Yes, right. Ultimately, that's what is business all about, right? So whatever they pay you, let's say you return them 10 times of it by savings, they will not even care that they're paying you, right? So that's the return on investment you need to give them. And in performance testing or performance engineering or optimization, that can be done very directly because we are directly playing with the infrastructure, which is the cost. Okay, so you don't need to think a lot of innovative things and all, but you just need to focus on what you are doing, saving the resources, optimizing it, so that ultimately in a long run my customer will save a lot. Like let's say there are 10 CPUs or 20 CPUs, you save like 5% of that. Okay, just 5%. So in a day, if my customer is paying like let's say a lakh or like maybe some 20K or 30K per day, right? So you are saving 5% of it. Like just it's like 1500, right? Per day. But if you convert it to an year, right? It will become like a good amount of, right? Like around 3 to 4 lakhs which you will be saving. So just by 5%, that also 30K is like a, what I will say is it's like a normal customer. Okay. Whichever customer will have a good amount of number of users base and all, surely they'll be spending in crores on the infrastructure. Okay. So the savings you can imagine, like easily you can save 5 lakh, 5 to 10 or 20, 30 lakhs just by doing small optimizations. Okay. And so what I'm ultimately saying is that's the ultimate aim of a performance tester, which you can reach mean in time, right? Not all together, but with time. Okay. Right. Any doubts, anyone till now? Okay, right. So let me come back to some hands-on, okay? So generally I do this, like when I take some part of theory, then I come back to the hands-on so that you all don't get bored also with a lot of theory. But initially some theory is required, right? So that I try to club it this way. But later on, as we move ahead, like after 2, 3 sessions and all, it will be fully hands-on, okay? Like majorly. So yeah. So let's move on to JMeter now. Okay. So till this, keep in mind, okay. So load and stability. Load is basically how you determine. So the KPI for load is the response time, okay, which we will try to see in the next session. And stability is throughput. So with throughput, you can find whether your application is stable or not. The load parameter comes through response time. Okay, so that we will see next session. Okay, so let's come to JMeter. So this is how the JMeter dashboard looks like. Okay, when you install JMeter and open it for the first time. Okay, so JMeter, this is JMeter GUI. So there are two ways to run JMeter, through GUI and non-GUI. Okay, so both the techniques we will be learning, and at the same time, so first step whenever you start scripting is recording, right? So that's the same way we will be going, right? We'll try to understand how you download and install JMeter, how you record a scenario in JMeter. Before that, we will learn what's a scenario, what's a flow, how you develop a workload model, okay, for a scenario. Then we will try to record a scenario in JMeter. We will understand how you record, like HTTP, HTTPS. So there are different methods for different things. Okay, there are some settings you need to do, certificate generation, SSL certificate generation, and all. So that we will learn. Okay, then we will, this recording also, there are 3 4 types, right? We will learn how to record in 4 different ways. Then we will understand how you filter out unwanted requests and all, how you uh, create your preliminary things, right? And while recording, what are the things you need to be very careful. Okay, so that we will be learning, and we will understand some important elements like cookies, cache, and all, how the basic request structure looks like, right? Because if you need to work on the request, you need to understand what's the request structure, what's the importance of the structure, like what's the get method, post method, and all those stuff, right? We need to understand that. Then once the filtering is done in JMeter, we will try to understand how we enhance the script, like parameterization, correlation, assertions, and all those elements, right? Different elements of JMeter, we will try to understand that. Then, so after that, we will be getting into execution stage, right? Where we'll try to understand think time, pacing, and all those. In correlation and parameterization is still okay, but correlation, there will be a lot of different cases, right? Which we will see, because correlation is not that straightforward. It's not that one shirt fits for all, right? So we need to understand different cases, how you need to uh, correlate, and for some easy hacks. Okay, so uh, there are some techniques, okay, which if you use, the correlation will become very simple for you. Okay, so that we will see. Then we will understand how you execute think time, pacing, how you add the think time, how you use controllers to your benefit. Okay, and how you set a test setup, right? Because if you're testing with endurance or load, based on various tests or different tests, what you're doing, the test setup will change, right? So what elements you're using and all, it will change. So that we will learn, and we will try to do this on multiple applications, not only one application, but multiple different applications. And as I said, we have one application called SockShop. Okay, so SockShop is a microservice based application which you can directly find in so if I just type SockShop, so we will deploy this SockShop application onto our Kubernetes cluster. So that will help us to even understand more on the Kubernetes side, right? We need to learn how the Kubernetes works, and also for that, that will help us. Okay, we will be deploying it into our local machine. So how the this application looks like, okay? So basically, it's a microservice based application. So we'll understand. Okay, now microservices. What are microservices? Like how they are divided, and what's a pod, container, Docker, and all those stuff we will learn. Okay. So basically, there are some 6 microservices in the application: front end, ordering, payment, users, catalog, card, shipping. Okay. So we'll try to understand how you test a microservice based application using this application. Okay. Then obviously, to understand the basics, we will be using the multiple different applications like the usual demo Blaze demo, JPEG store, and all those for start setting up the basics. Okay, so and once you understand the execution, we will go on to the reporting analysis, where we'll understand AppDynamics, we'll understand Grafana, Prometheus. Okay, what's the importance of AppDynamics, and as I said, this is very easy for you to grasp. Okay, it doesn't take much time, because all these things are tool based. You don't need to understand a script, but only thing what you need is proper, what I will say is a guidance. Okay, like where to look for what. That is a very important question you need to answer, right? Like because there are a lot of things, right? If you sit to learn that, then it will be very difficult for you. Okay, but if you learn it systematically, it is very easy for you. Like you need to go from one element to the next, one element to the next. So that way it will be like a story which you are seeing, right? The Ramayana. If you understand Ramayana as a story, it's easy for you to learn. But let's say you jump onto Ravana's fight first itself. Then you come back to Sita getting like Ravana taking Sita away. So that way you might not remember Ramayana fully. But if you start from okay Rama's birth to Ravana getting killed by Rama, right? So the whole Ramayana will fit into your brain, right? So same thing happens with our course also, right? We'll go in the course as a story, right? So at by the end of the story, you will get a feeling that everything whatever we learned is already in your mind, okay? And it's very straight. It was very straightforward. It's like opening a thread, right? Like when the thread is totally mixed up, so you open the thread slowly, right? So by the end, you would have opened the whole thread. So same thing, right? So yeah, so that way the course will proceed. Okay, so it will be a well structured way. We will proceed. I know there might be curiosity sometimes. Some want to learn parameterization first, some want to learn correlation first. But yeah, so things will happen, right, as per the course proceeds. And as I said, every day it will be something different, challenging, and you'll enjoy the journey a lot. Okay. So let's come to JMeter. So this is how the JMeter dashboard looks like. Okay. Now let me start my Tomcat server. Now all this whatever I'm taking, we will be going through in detail, okay? But for now, just to show, I'm do just want to showcase you how the JMeter works, okay, in a high level way. Because I want these sessions to be really useful for you all, so that you get maximum out of it. Okay. So let me start my Tomcat server. So what's a Tomcat? What's an Apache server? And all I will explain. Okay, it's a web server. And what's a web server? What's an application server? What's a proxy server? All those things we will learn. Okay. I'm just opening the application. It takes
I
some
have
time
one.
because app
I haven't,
One.
AppDynamics is yeah, go ahead.
I haven't
So like
installed
before continuing,
Meet application in my machine. So should we go ahead and install that first,
No,
or
no, no, don't do it. No, this
okay?
here, that's why I said. So everything I will show you, okay? You don't need to do anything now. Even downloading, installation, I will show the steps. Okay, everything I will show. So you can do it after that, okay? Not now. So this is like an overview which I am giving you, so that all of you, all who are here, they get a high level understanding of how the JMeter works. Okay, then we'll be coming back. Now see, this is one application JPEG store, but this is on my local machine. Okay, which is very important. So I have hosted this application on my local machine. So same thing I will do with the sock shop also. So the Kubernetes cluster I will deploy on my local machine, and on that Kubernetes cluster I will deploy sock shop. So you will learn the whole process, how the whole deployment happens and all. So you will get a high level understanding. So see, there is a minute gap or a small gray area between development and QA, right? So let's say when you learn Kubernetes, now if you go and search online, okay, Kubernetes, you go for a tutorial, it will be like a 40 or 50 hours or 100 hours of tutorial for Kubernetes. But my question to all of you is, as a QA, do you need JMeter more or Kubernetes more? What do you need? Is it Kubernetes or JMeter?
Basic knowledge of JMeter mostly.
JMeter, JMeter.
Exactly. So basic knowledge of Kubernetes, or even I can say intermediate knowledge of Kubernetes, and expert knowledge of JMeter, right? But let's say if you go and search tutorials of Kubernetes, you will be learning as if you want to become an expert, which is not required, and you will get overwhelmed, right? Because that much is not required for a QA. So how much is required for QA, right? So that's what we will learn from this course. So whatever is required for a QA to debug, to analyze, to find out any problematic areas in the Kubernetes, where to look for. So those things we will pinpoint and we will learn, so that it will become very easy for you in your project to showcase your talents or skills, right, in the Kubernetes, because you are never going to develop anything, right? But your work is to find an issue. There's a difference. So there's a difference between a doctor and a nurse. It's more sort of like that. Even a nurse will know many things, but doctor knows it in depth. But as a QA, I need to become the nurse, not a doctor, for the Kubernetes and all, right? But I need to be a doctor of JMeter, performance test, testing practices, and all those stuff, right? So that way we need to understand and we need to learn. If you learn that way, things will become simple. Otherwise, you will get overwhelmed and you will feel, oh, what am I learning? So many things. Where to start off with? Technology is changing drastically. How will I remain relevant, right, in the market? So this is how you remain relevant, right? You catch a niche, you catch a domain, and you learn other things also, whichever is required. But how much is required? Not more, not less, right? So yeah, that's what we are going to also do. So now here in our case, now currently I have deployed the application on the local machine. Now the same thing I have integrated it with my AppD. Okay, so let me log into my AppD quickly. So now what is this AppDynamics? Can someone say what's AppDynamics?
How
It's a
do
monitoring.
see the screen?
Sorry.
Application performance monitoring tool.
Yes, it's an application performance monitoring tool. Okay. Yeah, just I'm logging into AppDynamics, so that's why you're not seeing my screen. Just a minute. So this AppDynamics actually will help you to understand the business transactions that are happening in a high level way. And what it will do is it will give you more insights into your system. Okay. Now it's clearly different from Grafana, right? Grafana is used for different purpose. That also we will learn. Grafana is an infrastructure monitoring tool. Okay. It's not an APM tool, or it's not like it's a monitoring tool, but mainly focused on infrastructure. Okay. Now, but AppD is more sort of, it's more a profiling tool, okay, to understand the transactions, to go deeper into why that issue happened, right? It's more sort of like, let's say I take an ECG, at the same time I take an MRI, both are different, right? Or maybe I'm not right. ECG and CT scan or something like that, right? Which CT scan will give you more results in depth compared to an ECG, right? Or an X-ray, right? Let's compare an X-ray with ECG. ECG will not give you your heart image and all, right? Let's say, but maybe if you take an X-ray or some other scan which gives you the heart image and all, so say that's the comparison of AppD and Grafana. So AppD will give you an in-depth image into what you're seeing, right? Okay, let me share my screen. Now this is JMeter. Now in this I have created one flow for registration. Let me run that quickly. Basically this script is for registering new users, okay, on that application, because if I need to order, I need to register, right? So this script is for that. Let me run that quickly. So now if you see my test is running, okay, and if you see there are various steps to register, right? I launch, then I click on sign in, then I click register, then I enter the details, and then I sign in and sign out to check whether the register was successful or not. Now if you see the sample size, it's around 184, 87, 200, right? So this 200 means I have registered 200 usernames and password in how much time? Just 24 seconds. Now, can we do the same thing manually in this short span of time? Is it possible? Like registering 200 users. So what did I do in the register? It's simple, okay? This is my application, right? Now I clicked on sign in, then I clicked on register now. I entered the form details fully, and then I clicked save account information, and that's what I'm doing here, right? So launch, clicking on sign in, clicking on register, enter the details and submit the account. Then I'm signing in and seeing whether that registration was successful or not. And then I'm signing out. Now this here, if you see, I did 200 registrations in just 24 seconds. So is it manually possible to do that? That's my question. In just 20 seconds.
No.
No,
No.
right? That's the power of JMeter performance testing. So it's not just for putting like to understand okay how my application will behave and all, but you can do a lot of other things where you need that load or where you need to like increase the parallel activity, right? You can increase the parallel count so that things can happen faster, right? So now here I registered the users. Now the same user I will use in my ordering flow. Okay, so let me come to the ordering script. We'll understand why I'm doing this. Okay, just I want you to understand in a high level way how things are happening. Then we will go in depth. Okay, what these options are, what these elements are, what I'm doing, and all those stuff. How I created this, how I recorded this, and all those stuff. Because this is an end product, right? What I'm currently showing you the script. But how did I reach here? That's a very big story, right? Which we need to learn. So now coming to here, what I will do is just let's say I have a test like this. Okay, I run it with 10 users. So basically 10 users are ordering. Okay, that's the case here. Now if you see, first I am launching the website, then I am signing in, then I'm basically it has two steps that sign in. So that's why the sign in and login. Then I'm choosing a product, then I'm choosing a category, choosing a subcategory, I'm adding it to cart, I'm proceeding to checkout, then continuing, basically a continue option there, and confirm order. Then I'm checking whether that order is really there in my account or not, because let's say I clicked on confirm order, but does it mean that the order got created? I have to validate, right? Without validation I cannot proceed. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to my orders and checking and then signing out, right? But if you see clearly here, what's the throughput here now? What's the throughput? What you're seeing here, what's the value of throughput fluctuating between?
8.6 per second.
So what is that, right? So see, now let's say I speak about confirm order, right? 8.8 per second. So what does it mean? That means 8.8 order confirmations have happened in a second. Are you getting? So throughput has that importance. Okay, we need to understand. So throughput means how many that happened. Even add to cart, if you see. So 8.8 times add to cart have happened in a second. Now how many users am I running the test for? 10 users, right? So if you increase the users, let's say go to 20 users, my throughput will increase, right? Isn't it or not? Throughput should increase, right? Hello, all of you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? So that's what you're observing, right? It was 8, now it is 16. That means 16 orders per second are happening. But at the same time, if you see this confirm order, I'm having some error rate, isn't it? Are you seeing? Right? That means this many number of users, my application is not able to take. Okay. So let's try to understand how much my application will be able to take. So let's put 5, okay, little lesser, and see what's the throughput it can go with 0% error. And the test has to also stabilize, okay, because the errors might be in the initial stages, might be due to data and all. So we need to understand that. Okay, now yeah, now coming to the main point. Now if I go to AppD, okay, if I go to applications, if I go to JMeter demo, and if I go to business transactions, I can clearly see whatever happened, okay, on my whatever I did, right, the add to cart and all those. And if I click on this here, even it will detect some anomalies, right? Business transaction health is not correct. It's violating some data. What's the error? Like why the error happened and all those details you can see here. Okay. Yeah, anyways, we will learn all this in detail. Okay. So, but how did I set this up, right? That also we need to learn, right? Because if you see this name, add to cart 121, and the name which I gave in my JMeter, it's same, right? Are you able to see that? Able to see that or not?
Yes, sir.
Right? So how did I do that, right? Because that way it becomes very easy for me to even correlate things between JMeter and AppD, right? So how did I do that? That is something which we need to learn, right? How I integrate, because that your developers might not help you. They might help you to set up AppD the high level way, but how do I integrate AppDynamics with JMeter so that I can get more reliable results and I can monitor it? I can create reports directly from AppD, right? So that thing. Now, when we say Grafana, which we will see tomorrow, but in a very high level way, let me explain you that. So Grafana also works similar to AppD, but Grafana is for monitoring your resources, the CPU, memory, and all. Again, in that also you will get graphs like this, okay, where you will have the CPU utilization, memory utilization, network bandwidth utilization, pod usage, like pod, like, because each pod will also have some utilization. So all those things will be there, right? So that we will be seeing when we deploy Grafana. Then uh, basically Grafana is a monitoring tool. So the tool which feeds data into Grafana is a Prometheus, which is a time series DB. That also we will see. So what's the time series DB? What's the difference between the normal DBs and all? How the Prometheus works, right? So that we need to understand. Then only the Grafana, how it works, we will understand, right? So that we will see. But ultimately, everything, if you see, JMeter is what we will be seeing in very much in depth, because there's a lot of things to explore in JMeter. Okay, because as I said, JMeter is not only a performance testing tool, it's a unit testing tool too. Okay, so there are a lot of things to learn here, and the elements, various things. So in JMeter itself, you see there are a lot of different elements: samplers, logic controller, preprocessor, post-processor, assertions, timer. But if you see, all of this doesn't need any coding. Only you need to know where to use what. It's very straightforward, right? So if you know where to use what, you can easily do it. Okay, there is no rocket science here. But only thing is that you need to know how you do it, right? So that's the main logic here. Yeah, any questions, anyone? I'll take up some question because it's almost we have 5 more minutes. So don't want to go further more. Any questions, anyone?
Yes, I have it. I just
Yeah,
want to
Sandeep.
know how many tool do we have to use? Like how many tool we have to learn beside JMeter?
Yeah, so for performance testing, JMeter is enough. But on the monitoring side, right, monitoring tool, it's always good to know at least one or two, like Grafana and AppDynamics, right? So that you can correlate that with any other tool of monitoring.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Hi, Vishnu, can you go to the results page?
yes. For of JMeter,
Oh, yes, yeah. In the
yeah.
throughput, the throughput 20.9 second for each user or 10 users or each user?
It's for total. It's a total for 5 users
It's a total.
or whichever we gave. This one, 5 users we gave, right?
Okay,
Yeah, it's for the total.
okay, thanks.
But anyways, it doesn't matter. Ultimately, it's per second, no? So
Second.
it
Okay.
can be 10 users, 20 users, 30 users, but per second, this much launch is happening. This much login is happening. That's what it means.
Mhm.
But we will see one important thing where we understand how to model your flow for a realistic case. Okay. So that time you will know that there is a connection with users also. Okay. For example, very quickly, maybe that only that point. Let's say I put one user here, just one user, okay, and I'm running the test. Now with one user, how many orders I'm getting? How many? Hello? In a second, how many orders I'm able to do with one
10
user?
order. 10
10.
10
order.
orders. But is it realistic? Because one user is doing 10 orders in a second. See, as per JMeter is concerned, performance testing is concerned, okay, my server is seeing that much load. But realistically, practically, right? Will a user do 10 orders in a second?
No.
No, right? Let's say some 100 users are there, and I am seeing 10 orders per second. That is still okay, right? Are you getting my point? Like 100 users are using my website, and that time 10 orders I'm seeing in a second. That is still fine. But one user doing 10 orders per second is not that realistic, right? But when I increase the users to 100, what will happen to my throughput? What will happen?
I think it is same.
It will increase, right? So now when it increases, I will have to bring it down, right? As a performance tester. So I will have to make users 100, and I will have to maintain the throughput at 10.8. Can I do that? This
Yes.
question is to all. So with one user, I'm getting 10.8. Now with 100 users, I need to maintain 10.8. Yes, I can do that. Okay, there is a technique to do that. That we will see. Okay, tomorrow. In the tomorrow session, we will see how to control the throughput by increasing the number of users. But again, see, those are some advanced, I mean, like little ahead topics. Anyways, today I wanted to just show JMeter in action. Okay, that's why I showed. So we will now see all these in very detail. Okay, like how it happened, what are these things, even what's average response time, min max, standard deviation, error percentage. Even if you remember, like when you're opening JMeter in your side, we will understand how do you download and how you install JMeter, which we didn't see, right? We need to see that how you download, how you install, what are the things you need to do, prerequisites to install, how you install Java, right? All the step by step we will see, okay, in very detail and very slow, so that all of you understand it very well. Okay,
So
right.
this one
Any
question, Vishnu,
questions?
this throughput is hitting server, I mean hitting request. So
Hmm.
simultaneous or at a time.
Correct. Yes, the server. Yeah, Prasad. Correct.
Yeah, it's at a time, hitting
At
at
a
a
time.
time
At
or
a time. At
okay,
a time. Yes.
okay.
Right. Okay. So if any no more questions, let's stop it here for today. And tomorrow I will just show the Kubernetes. Okay. How the Kubernetes. So that's a little bit you'll get an understanding on the Kubernetes side also. Then we will start going in depth in each of these topics. Okay. uh, because I want all of you to get as much as you can in these sessions. Okay, before we get into the private WhatsApp group. Uh, yeah, so please do utilize these demo sessions. Okay, because it's anyone can join this demo session, right? So please utilize it. It might run for maybe one or 2 days more, right? So try to utilize it. Ask how many other questions you can in these sessions, right? Utilize it. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to say. Anything else anyone has? Any questions, queries?
Yeah, hi Vishnu, this is Krishna.
Yeah, hi Krishna.
Yeah, my question is like, which tool will very helpful to find the bottleneck, like AppDynamic or Grafana?
It's a combination actually, because see what happens in Grafana will give you that early indication, okay, and AppDynamics will give you that in-depth indication, right? So both are required. It's we cannot say one out of this. So it's a combination. So let's say you have Neuralink, you have let's say Dynatrace, you have Neuralink, AppDynamics, you have Grafana, AppDynamics, you have Grafana, Dynatrace. So it's a combination, right? That will work more better.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. And everything is an open source tool here, right? So Grafana also you can easily implement in your project. Just you need is a permission, right? So it's an open source tool and very easy to implement, which we will see in our course, right? How you implement it. It's very easy to do it, right? Very easy when you do it in a systematic step.
Yeah, for Grafana, we need to integrate with InfluxDB, right?
No, we are using Prometheus, not InfluxDB.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So Prometheus is far more bigger community and all. Influx is actually a new tool. Okay, new DB. It has come just now, but it's Flux query and it's a bit faster. People say, but Prometheus is a very it has a very old relationship with Grafana and is widely used. Okay, it's very easy to implement also.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay then. Yeah. Thank you all and have a very good day and good night. Meet you all tomorrow. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Bye.